Hello, welcome back. This is an audiobook, Live the Life You Crave, Chapter 7, Clarity. Clarity occurs when you're hit with something intensely interesting that captivates you and stirs something inside you. When you achieve clarity, you create the power of momentum. When this happens, it allows you to push everything else out of the way, hone in, and focus with maximum productivity, a key to happiness and success. There's a lot to be said for being single-minded and focused on one thing at a time. It's in these moments when your focus is disturbed that you can become irritated or fear losing it. But take a breath, remain calm. You can regain clarity after a pause. Why? Because we want clarity. It's mesmerizing, and we don't want to lose all we accomplish during the process. But how? This chapter contains several great exercises to help you get and maintain clarity, a clear vision of purpose that fosters what you want to create in your life. First, form an understanding and a system with those you share physical space. Set out a do not disturb sign or the like during times of intense focus. Be prepared to alert others when you're hit with inspiration and you become intensely focused on it, so you can let those around you know and they won't disturb you, so you can maintain and continue your flow. Being a work-from-home mom of 2 and a writer, I've learned how through trial and error. My kids understand when I need to focus because we have a system in place. They have a silent method of alerting me when they need my attention. This eliminates sudden disruptions, replacing them with a controlled system that works for everyone, therefore eliminating stress-inducing interruptions. Clarity causes everything to move forward. Reflect on the moments of your life when you had intense clarity about something. Passion, desire, and a calm foster and maintain clarity. Clarity delivers a creative zone. Clarity causes everything to move forward. Reflect on the moments of your life when you had intense clarity about something. Passion, desire, and calm foster and maintain clarity. Clarity delivers a creative zone where you almost can't stop moving forward. You get in a state of flow, and the momentum snowballs. Clarity occurs when you know without a doubt and with great passion that you want something, intend to get it, and won't give up. Something that can lead anyone to success and happiness is clarity of vision. Yet clear on your why, but possess these 3 clear beliefs, you can achieve clarity. Let's explore the first exercise in this chapter. 3 clear beliefs. If you believe the following, you're set. 1. It's out there. This thing you believe in and want is out there and waiting for you. 2. I will find it. You'll crack the case and discover the actual thing that's been making you believe you're meant for more. 3. It's worth it. It will improve your life and others who can benefit from your accomplishment. This is a powerful means by which to focus on and manifest the life you so badly want. Think about and recite your 3 clear beliefs. Plus, use this as a walking meditation anytime needed. It's out there, I will find it, and it's worth it. Breathe, relax, and repeat. It's out there, I will find it, and it's worth it. Do so consistently until after. Do so consistently, saying to yourself, repeating the mantra, it's out there, I will find it, and it's worth it. Until and after you know, like you know, like you know, like you know, that it's true and happening. Tongue twister, right? This is something I say to acknowledge I'm experiencing clarity. I know, like I know, like I know. It's perhaps one of the most powerful mantras, affirmations, and positive thoughts I frequently use. I'm not really sure where I first heard this, but it stuck and it works. I use it all the time. You know, now that I think about it, I remember it was Lisa Nichols. Thank you, Lisa. You're a beautiful light and someone I greatly appreciate and admire. Write it down. This is the next exercise. First, you must allow yourself to want, dream, visualize, imagine the life you want, the life you crave. It's then you begin to experience clarity. Think on paper. When a good idea comes to you, write it down. There's something about taking to pen and paper with thoughts that pop into your head that's magical. When you respond to inspired thought, take action, and write it down, you build a stronger creative brain function. The power of supply and demand comes into play. This makes your creativity more fluid and abundant. I believe it was Albert Einstein that said, creativity is intelligence at play. How fun is that? Everyone's creative. Your documented ideas can design the blueprint of your life, the life you crave. How will you do this? I'm about to explain my trick to accelerate the process. I call it the write it down method. Look around your home and collect all the empty, barely used, or unclaimed notebooks. Make a place of honor for these treasures, soon to safeguard your collection of inspired thoughts and ideas. Choose a place where you can easily access these precious record keepers. Somewhere they won't be misplaced. Keep one by your bedside. Post-it notes work well in this location. If, like me, your thoughts flow when you're relaxing in bed just before drifting off, and often when waking up. I sometimes wake in the middle of the night with a flood of inspired thought. When you write your thoughts down before they either slip away or hang around to keep you up at night, you get a better night's sleep. And you've created something. You've been productive. I have a small basket designated especially for my post-it notes. You don't want to lose these sparks of insight. Once you start writing down the brilliant bits and pieces from your thoughts, two things happen. More ideas flow and you free your mind of congested thoughts. Now, a side note on journaling. I have never been one to journal. It felt like you're supposed to write things down that occur in your life, like today I felt, but no, that's not what this is about. And I don't find that particularly useful. As a matter of fact, I could never get that. But now I have, and for years, I have piles of journals because I write inspired thoughts down. You don't have to be interesting and think, oh, what's interesting happened to me today that I should journal about? No, you just wait until you get a bright idea and then you write that down. This is why it's so vital to write it down. When it first pops into your head, all thoughts are created equal. It may seem silly to write down the small stuff. You may think, I'll wait until it grows into something bigger. But don't wait. The best ideas are inspired thoughts. They come in a flash and are gone in an instant. This is why it's called inspired thought. You get a spark meant to ignite your natural gifts and talents. Yes, these inspired thoughts that come to you as if out of the blue are your inner guidance system prompting you to build on your natural gifts and talents. All too often, we only get bits and pieces, and it's for this reason you must write everything down as it surfaces. If not, you'll forget it and kick yourself later when trying to remember it. It doesn't matter if some of your ideas make no sense when they occur. In time, they will. Remember, it's a consistent flow of small accomplishments that create something big, something magical, the life you crave. So we're just going to keep building. This applies to your random thoughts and ideas. When you let your creative brain know you're paying attention and making good use of inspiration, the gifts flow more abundantly. Everything I write, everything I've ever wrote, is born from bursts of inspired thought. These thoughts typically surface in the most inconvenient moments. When it hits, I write it down. Inspired thoughts accumulate and create something complete. This is a creative process, and we're all creative, all of us. When you write down one idea, your mind is then free to receive the next idea or the rest of the story, typically in bits and pieces. Anytime you have a good thought, you are creating. Inspired thoughts are sparks of creative genius. Embrace this truth and allow it to work. Don't allow the societal definition of creative to stop you. It's a collection of mistaken attitudes and thoughts. Being creative is nothing more than following your inner knowing. Whenever you do what you're meant to do, you create something of value. This is my definition of creative. We're all creative. Many of us deny it and therefore don't utilize this vital tool. I can tell you this. I've regretted not doing so in the past by attempting to hold on to a burst of inspired thought for later use. I've had these ideas that were just so mind-boggling. They just blew my mind. I'm like, wow, where did this come from? This could not be me. It is just like a spark of genius. And I think, well, it's so good. There's no way I'll forget this. But, yep, I have. Learn from my mistake and write it down. Until you develop the habit of having a pen and paper around, remember your phone. You can text yourself a message, including your bright idea or thought. There have been times when I left my phone at home or in my car and borrowed a friend's to text myself a thought that popped into my head while we were out shopping. Once you realize the value in doing this, you'll do so habitually. This is one habit that'll pay off in a big, big way. Imagine yourself as a private detective on the case to solve your missing identity. Just like any good detective, you'll need to document all the details of your investigation to crack the case. It's for this reason I carry a mini voice recorder around in my purse, for those times when I forget my phone, which also has a useful voice recorder. Think about all the options available to you. There is no reason to make this difficult. Use what works best for you, but do it. You'll be glad you did. As I said earlier, I am not one to journal. This is not journaling, but instead documenting your innermost inspired and creative revelations. Others I've shared this technique with tell me it's much easier than journaling because you only need to write down the thought. You don't have to elaborate, explain, or describe how it makes you feel. Just write it down. It doesn't require attempts to force anything. It happens organically. Write down thoughts and ideas that come to you as if from out of the blue. In time, your thoughts will create a positive and constructive blueprint. Your blueprint. Your undeniable brand will begin to surface by way of related thoughts and ideas. This can build a unique, happy, and successful future. Remember, it's because of misdirection that you've been both advised and conditioned to reject such pearls of wisdom from your intuitive nature. Writing it down is all about recovering and protecting inspired thoughts, or the accumulation of small things that can create something big, something magical. There will be times when nothing seems to happen, and then suddenly you're hit with a growth spurt. It's a natural ebb and flow. Put your notes to good use. A time will come when you want to organize your collection of thoughts to make sense of it all. As the content in your notebook grows, so too will it grow in your mind, develop and come to fruition. Hey, you might even write a book. Just saying. I'm in no way suggesting you do. Writing a book should be a desire, not a task. But you never know until it happens. Keep an open mind. Now, back on topic. With your notebook of ideas in hand, get in a quiet state of mind. Lock yourself away with your innermost thoughts. Learning to ignore distractions is a very productive and positive skill. I live in the suburbs, and I have 3 dogs who alert me to every little thing that goes on around our property. Such distractions can disrupt creative productivity. However, when you ignore such disruptions by becoming and remaining calm and focused, the source of the disruption settles, calms, and creates fewer outbursts. The environment of your surroundings will follow your lead. You're the alpha of your life's direction. You're in charge. Plus, supplement your creative calm by breathing optimally. I cover more on this in Chapter 13. We'll cover that later. Keep it simple. Don't overcomplicate the process and let it flow when it occurs. Building from your notes. Start this process at a place holding your greatest interest. It's perfectly natural to have many special interests and feel overwhelmed. Type the thoughts from your notebook into a Word document, adding any additional ideas that come to mind. Reserve a space for each seemingly individual idea. Think of each strong idea as a chapter of a book. This helps to maintain some semblance of order. Stop when and if you have nothing to add, leaving room for it to grow organically. You have a place for your thoughts when they spark, and you can go to that place that is related to that category. Doing this makes it easier for you to manage, edit, and create. Repeat the process of jotting down bright ideas and adding them to the appropriate Word doc or chapter as the particular ideas grow. While doing this, you may find yourself inspired to add more and build from those bright ideas. This secures your process. It's a fluid and ongoing creation that is not to be rushed or forced. Do not become obsessed. There will be times when something great is complete. You must learn to identify when it's finished. When you instinctively know something is of value, you may feel inclined to keep at it, build from it, and find it difficult to stop. Stop. It's a successful piece of your puzzle that requires others. Move on to work on something new. This is a mission, not a moment. Remember, all of your thoughts are created equal, and when each is given its own space, you create something outstanding. Many great pieces create something phenomenal. You can be phenomenal. The ability to consistently shift your focus from one thing to the next each time an idea has been exhausted is creativity at its finest. When you get stuck, and feel like you're losing momentum and yet want to continue, stop attempting what has ceased and distract yourself from confusion or frustration. Focus on progression, not perfection. Figure out the quickest way to get over and around it, whatever it takes to get you moving forward again, but only in due time. It may be a walk in the park with your dog, riding a bike, doing your laundry, yoga, golf, or cleaning your car, office, desk, or home. Don't remain frustrated and stuck. When you clear your head, you make room for clarity. It may be days before you feel inspiration kick in, but it will in your own time. Be patient and remember, this is a mission, not a moment. Great ideas must be jotted down, gathered together, and kept in a safe place. It can be difficult to transform one great idea into something complete upon its first conception. It most often happens in unexpected ways. This is not about making you a writer, unless you want to be. This type of self-documentation is a vital process of self-exploration and discovery. It's a practical method of extracting and protecting the hidden brilliance from the corners of your mind. It's proof of your creative nature, your gifts and talents. I must add that there are a lot of sleeping writers out there, so if you're one who's been discouraged from becoming a starving writer in your youth, if this process awakens your inner writer, don't be surprised or doubt it. This happens, and this is the process I use to write everything I write. Note to awakening writers: if you feel the pull to write and believe you're waking to your natural gift, continue the write it down exercise. Your gift is lethargic and needs to be nurtured back to health, or brought to life from the beginning in the first place. Don't be quick to seek out ways to make money writing. All writers aren't capable of writing just anything. We each have our niches or areas of talent where our gifts flourish. You'll find your sweet spot when your gifts allowed to flow naturally. When you struggle with a topic or a genre for an extended period and feel stressed or uncomfortable about it, the topic is probably not for you. Don't allow your inner writer to be extinguished. Again, writer's block is more accurately defined as writer's knot, as in not right now. Shift your paradigm. If you struggle to write about a specific topic, that's a big fat knot, as in not for you. When you get burnt out or stalled, practice the next exercise. This is the next exercise. I practice what I call the next exercise. Imagine waiting in line at the bakery, coffee shop, or the BMV. Think about the frustration that builds as you wait and the tension grows. The aggravation that builds from waiting for something is relieved when hearing your name, number, or the glorious word, next. Anytime you become frustrated while working on or doing anything, stop, take a breath, and say either aloud or to yourself, next. This instigates a mental reset. You're excused from the uncomfortable wait. Shift your attention to something different. If you want to continue working, redirect your attention to anything other than the thing that has ceased to flow. Forcing yourself to continue with the same task after the dreaded frustration sets in will not create positive results. Plus, it's a waste of time that could be better spent on something fresh. I like the next exercise. I think of it as a cold splash of water on my creative senses. It's a very useful and effective reboot. The next exercise is also useful when it comes to productivity. There are times when you have a task to do that you'd rather avoid, but you cannot. For example, washing the dishes. You could rinse off all the dishes and stack them in the sink. Instead of ending there, take a breath and say, "Next," to instigate loading the dishwasher, perhaps cleaning off the counters. Anytime you have a large project that requires a lot of energy and stamina, mentally motivate yourself to optimize your productivity. When you get to a place where you feel tempted to stop, say "next" to instigate going further. You'll be surprised both with how well this works and how good it makes you feel. Write what flows naturally. A little side story here. A friend who writes romance novels repeatedly asked me to edit one of her books. The writers community typically does that, asking one another to edit and read their books. I consistently told her no because I've only read one romance novel in my life and it wasn't for me. I have no interest in the genre and therefore wouldn't be a good candidate to edit and provide a fair review. One day she challenged me and promised to never ask again if I myself wrote one, a romance novel. Ha! I laughed and said, "Are you serious?" My friend is persistent, and so to shut her up, I accepted. After all, how hard can it be to write a romance novel? Well, it's hard. If you're me and not skilled at that talent. It took me off and on over 3 years to complete, mostly off. It's not my niche. Finally, when done, I turned it over to my friend. She read it and advised me that while it was good, it was too on the nose. You see, writers like myself are more fact-based and detail-oriented, a skill that does not lend itself well to romance. We both learned that not just anyone can nor should write a romance novel. Yes, and that includes editing one as well. That book is still out there floating around. Someone just recently told me they found it and they read it and they liked it. I was so embarrassed. I'm like, oh my gosh, it's still published out there somewhere? That's the problem with publishing. It can always be around. Writing that book was the hardest thing I've ever written. If your heart's not in it, or you're not gifted in a particular area, it won't work when you attempt it. Worse yet, using your talent in the wrong way can make you feel like a failure or altogether untalented. Don't force yourself. Writing is a broad skill with varying outlets of expression. When you hear the expression, "find your voice," it means to write about what you love or find interesting and falls within your specific range of talent. How do you know? Well, when you start writing about something that's for you, it flows. It works. You just keep doing it. You don't, there's no frustration. Back to where we left off. Keep moving forward and jot down all the thoughts and ideas that come to you while working toward your goal. Plan your future in chunks as inspired thought flows. In time, it'll all come together to form a clear picture with clarity. You can't force it, so don't struggle. When launching your new career, business, or venture, it may not come to fruition until you have clarity. The absence of clarity gives birth to doubt. So focus on getting clear on your desires, gifts, and talents, and let them guide you to the structure of the thing that's right for you. Later, when reviewing your notes, you'll find some of that seems pure nonsense, while other bits feel like pure gold and spark something. This is important when learning what you want and don't want. Both are vital aspects of your investigation. The write it down and next techniques are tools I developed after suffering a loss of far too many great ideas or getting stuck on projects. I was a freelance writer for many years, which means people hired me to write things. I've written a lot of online content for websites and blogs and marketing and things like that. And you don't write what you're gifted at. You write what people hire you to write, and that can be a struggle. Ready, aim, fire. This is another exercise. Ready, aim, fire is a phrase we've all heard. I suggest you take the ready, fire, aim approach instead. In other words, get ready, have your notebooks and pen on hand, fire by putting those ideas down without a worry as to why or what it means. Ready, aim, fire. This is another exercise. Ready, aim, fire is a phrase we've all heard. I suggest you take the ready, fire, aim approach instead. In other words, get ready, have your notebooks and pen on hand, fire by putting those ideas down without a worry as to why or what it means, then aim or bring them together to form something complete. Learn about yourself and get to know what you're made of. Multiple projects and ventures can develop from your documented thoughts. All the stuff you write down will form the map to the treasure you seek. Remember, inspired thoughts and ideas flow quickly in bits and pieces. For example, after the beta group successfully ended, I was left with a stack of phenomenal notes. Don't know if I mentioned it in these audio tapes, but it's in the book in the earlier chapters. I worked with a beta group during the pandemic to get a lot of information to write this book, the content of this book. I had sessions with them as I would like a normal person in transformation coaching, but we did it on Zoom so we could all meet together, and they were my beta group when developing this book. But anyway, after we were done, the beta group and I began to struggle with the book. My ideas grew foggy and slipped away. I diverted my attention using the next exercise. My office needed a good cleaning, and so that's what I did to distract myself, clear my head. While spring cleaning, I flipped through the many notebooks stacked in my strategically placed bookcase. I got excited when running across a blank notebook. I'm like, wow, to me, it's a clean canvas to occupy my bright ideas. I flipped it open to admire the crisp, clean pages and found it wasn't empty. But I was blown away by the contents. For a moment, I thought, who wrote this? Ha! It was me. It was exactly what this book needed, and I had written it over a year ago. Wow, am I glad I found it. Am I glad I practiced the next exercise. Now talk about inspired thoughts that get turned out. Turned out to be gold. Think about it. I began creating this book a year ago, a year before Beth asked me to write the first in the series, which led to this book. The moral being, write it all down and let everything out. The ready, fire part happened long before, and without it, there would be no book. Once I found the notebook, I soon completed this book with ease and much delight in 1 week. It was a great joy to find what was missing from this project. The big takeaway is this: our original ideas, those that come as if from out of the blue, are clarity. Inspiration comes in waves, and it's then you should write these nuggets down. You may be clueless about what to do with such a burst of seemingly philosophical or lofty ideas, but do not worry. The entire collection will come together and tell a story. Each thought creates one brushstroke after another that will one day complete your masterpiece. This is how you can find your why, what, and how. We'll go into detail about revealing your why, what, and how in a later chapter. With this in mind, say, I forgive my past, I release my future, and I honor where I am here and now. This is a good mantra. This is a good thing to say to yourself, especially when you're first beginning or when you're stalled. I'll repeat that. I forgive my past, I release my future, and I honor where I am in the here and now. Okay, sorry about that. I got so into reading the book that I didn't notice that pop up yet. But you know what? I'm not going to worry about it. I'm just going to leave it. Anyway, I really go on and on about clarity. And you need to review this over and over again, because I've coached so many people over the years. I mean, clarity is the thing that stalls people. Clarity is the thing that the lack of clarity is the thing that prevents people from achieving true happiness and success. You have to really be clear. And clear about what? Clear about you. Clear about who you are. What sparks your creativity? What gives birth to your natural gifts and talents? Clarity is essential. It is the food that feeds your best future. So get clear. Practice these exercises in the chapter. How many are there? There's write it down, the next, and the readying fire. I think there's 3, maybe more. But anyway, clarity is vital. And until next time, have a beautiful, wonderful, glorious day.